Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again. Here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another video talking about The Walking Dead Season 4, doing some predictions. Let's talk about, will Rick's group separate? Okay, well, the first thing that should be mentioned with regards to this topic is that there is no more Ricktatorship. As far as we know, and from what I've heard online, it looks like from the trailer that Rick by himself will not be leading the group anymore. He won't be the sole leader. He's going to be sort of sharing the responsibility with the people we see talking at the table about the traitor, so to speak, which was, I believe, Sasha, Herschel. Who else was there? I think Glenn was there too, wasn't he? Was Maggie there? I think Maggie was there too. And then of course also Rick, and of course Daryl, is another one of your, your key people in the group that will, influence decisions and how they're made and this kind of stuff. Tyrese as well, going to be taking on a huge role this season, so expect to see lots of stuff from him coming up. So that being said, since Rick is not going to be solely in charge of the group, will we see the group start to fan out and separate in different directions? Now, the trailer, at the end of the trailer, we can see in the car Daryl, Tyrese, Michonne, and Bob Stuckey, and they're sort of heading out somewhere, and we hear on the radio about this sanctuary, so to speak. Whether or not it's going to be one, I guess we'll see. However, we clearly see that, and then they basically have to get out of the car and run, which is the scene where you see where Tyrese is just hammering all those different walkers that are, in a group. They're outside of the car. So we know for a fact, at least, that they're going to be going on a run somewhere. But we also see in the trailer Daryl talking to Rick about at some point them having to move on. So is it possible that they're not just on a run, but they're actually leaving? Like those people right there have decided to leave? I mean, it'd be strange to see Daryl leave without Carol. I would think that she would want to leave as well. But, it's possible that for the kids, we've seen her with some of the kids around there at the prison, that maybe she would want to stay for them, and Daryl, kind of being that type of guy, may want to leave. I mean, it's possible they're just on a run, but it really does seem that way. Also, in terms of story, with the prison and with the governor, Rick's group has too many people, for the governor to really pose a realistic threat to them, unless he's got a tank or something, which I'd like to see. I hope they actually do that from the comic book. Governor comes in on a tank. We'll see if that actually happens. But I tend to think that the group will actually separate. I think that a lot of them are going to leave, but Rick is going to want to stay. And also we've seen Tyrese and Rick are going to get into a fight as well. So I'm thinking maybe them two butting heads will cause the group to sort of separate off and splinter off, where you'll have Daryl and the rest of them leave, and Rick will want to stay at the prison, and because of what's been lost there, because of everything that happened and how hard they worked to get it, he'll be attached to that location and he'll want to stay there, even though it's being attacked, even though there's so many walkers and all these different things. I think he's going to want to stay there. So that being said, I do think that the group is going to separate off, at least to some degree. You'll have Herschel, maybe he'll want to go back to the farm, maybe he'll stay with Rick there. But I do think we're going to see Herschel's farm again as another location for the show. I don't think that they're totally done with the farm and that we'll never see it again. I think maybe a section of the people there at the prison are probably going to go off there, maybe some of them to Fort Benning, like the Daryl's group that we saw in the car with him. And yeah, I mean, I do think that it's going to happen, that the group is going to separate because it's so big, and there'll be so much distress from them being attacked by probably the governor, maybe a traitor in the midst of the group, and all these different things. I do think that they're going to end up leaving the prison, at least some of them, and sort of splitting off. We do know too that it seems that Robert Kirkman is a fan of Game of Thrones, where you have a lot of different stories going on at once. At least it seems that way, because the character Bob Stuckey was at first called Rory Stark. Or was it Rory or Roy? It doesn't matter. It was a fake name anyway. But you know, at that time, Game of Thrones was on, so we know for a fact that somebody in there is you know is at least watching the series to make a play like that on his name. So and I do think they will take that approach where they start to have more you know separation there as well, because you'll have the governor, of course, he'll be on his own, so that he won't be anywhere, you know, or at least probably not near the prison. Then you'll have Rick's group there, and I think we will have different groups going in different directions and in different scenarios because of the amount of characters they do have. Plus, it's kind of boring to have everybody just in one spot there at the prison. I would like to see, you know, some splintering of the group and disagreements, and have characters go off on their own. I mean, they could always come back together, return, but it would be kind of cool to see that. So I think that's probably what they're going to do in season 4, at least for a little while. Have the group split up and have different stories happening simultaneously in different spots. It just adds to it and makes it more of a, you know, a complete, I think, feeling story where you have different things happening in different locations and then have them coming together. It's a really good way to do it, I think, in terms of a television series where you have so much time. People won't get bored because you're only touching certain times on certain members that are in certain locations. So I think that'll be cool. Plus, it'll help because the prison may start to feel stale after them being there for so many episodes. So it'll be cool to see them spread out a bit. So those are my thoughts on whether or not I think they're going to split up. Do I think we're going to see the farm again? I do think we're going to see Herschel's farm again, and I do think that in season 4, you know, well, we know that they are going to leave the prison. It's been confirmed in the trailer, but I do think that there may be some people that may want to stay at the prison while the others leave. Like, for example, in the trailer, you see Rick. He's walking back. I think it's Rick or Carl, and then you know you have the others who are actually leaving in the cars. So it does seem to me that that they are going to leave. At least Daryl for sure, and the others that are probably with him. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this topic. If you guys have any other topics for me, please write them in the comments below. Thumb them up if you want to see them made into videos, and send me private messages if you have a really good topic. Okay, those are my thoughts on this one, so I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, and I'm saying peace.